Hi folks, my name is Sangha Niyogi, and can I tell you that this is my favorite class to teach. So I am so excited to introduce you to the sociology of race and ethnicity. You can call me Dr. Niyogi or Sangha, whichever one rolls off your tongue easy. Just please don't call me Mrs. Niyogi, because that's my mom. My spouse and I don't share a last name. But I grew up in New Delhi, India, and I've been in the San Francisco Bay Area pretty much most of my adult life. I have lived, worked, raised a family here, so I definitely consider this home. I live in San Ramon with my spouse and kid and this ginormous puppy who's hiding behind his pillow right now. So I have finished my education in various parts of the world. So I started with an undergraduate degree in political science, got a master's in international relations from Bristol in UK, and I got my PhD in sociology from UC Davis. And I shared that academic background with students to give you a sense of how artificial these disciplinary boundaries are. If you ever want to chat more about sociology or social justice as majors that you might be interested in, I welcome you for a Zoom session or email, however you want your questions answered. In graduate school, I specialized in race, ethnicity, immigration. So you know now why I am so interested in this particular class. And in many ways, we are living in these historic times of a racial uprising. I know that many of you have been engaged on the ground, some of us marching in the streets, some of us doing activism through other means, and then many of us living the consequences of enormous inequality and injustice in our society. And I'm hoping that we can use our class to create a sense of community, create a space, a brave space, where we can inform a lot of our discussions through our lived experience. So the way that I'm going to start off the class is by creating a pretty solid conceptual and historical foundation. Our class is going to be focused on the US context. So obviously racism, these are global issues. I, for instance, was raised in a nation that was colonized by the British for over 200 years. And that certainly shapes who I am. But at the same time, our particular class is going to be focused more on the US context. So as I said, we'll set a good solid conceptual foundation. We look at racial formation theory, concepts of white privilege, colorblind racism, so many different manifestations of racism, because racism manifests both at the very personal and individual level. But I think in our class we want to push this idea that racism is systemic, that it exists at this macro level of institutions and cultural ideology. And that's the part that needs to be understood to be changed, right? The historical context for the US becomes so important. You folks might have been listening to the term BIPOC, which is Black Indigenous People of Color. We can unpack that more in our class to say that indigenous invisibility and anti-Blackness have been fundamental in how all of us have formed race relations in the US, including other people of color. Keeping that in mind, our class will go beyond the black-white binary to look at other groups of color, anti-immigrant sentiments, the history of Asian Americans, Native Americans, Latinx folks in the US, right? And I think that analysis will be so important to building interracial solidarity, right? We will also have a very intersectional approach to our analysis where we look at the intersections of race with gender, sexuality, social class, and so on. We will have an institutional focus as well. So we will look at how racial hierarchy is perpetuated through our institutions of education, housing, right? Housing is then connected with wealth and health, right? And so having that institutional focus is so important, especially in this moment as we look at police brutality, mass incarceration, and how those things disproportionately affect communities of color, and more specifically, African Americans in our society. We will finish off by taking a look at how social movements throughout our history have challenged that racial hierarchy. So just like we have encountered racist ideas from the foundational moments of our nation, we have also seen anti-racist movements, and I think it'll be really important to highlight those as well. So as you can tell, I am very excited to spend this semester with you unpacking all of that. I am always looking to learn from my students because learning is indeed a lifelong process. Our class is going to be designed largely as asynchronous. We proceed through different modules. So you'll see my recorded lectures with the readings and assignments, and our syllabus will tell you more about that. But we will have a weekly optional Zoom meeting. That'll be our chance to connect, create a sense of belonging, a shared community. And then, of course, you can request one-on-one Zooms with me anytime you have questions and concerns. All right, folks, let's get to it.